Brother Hauser is going to teach us tonight about merging individuals. We've talked about merging records and things, or adding records. And some of you expressed concern that you're afraid to merge people because what if you make a mistake? And I think Jim will show us that there probably aren't very many mistakes that you can make that can't be undone. So he'll show us how to do that. So
we hope.
We hope.
Yeah.
We will. So go ahead and take it from there.
Okay, because actually, whenever this subject came up some time ago, I'm going, ooh, I don't think I could teach this one on Zoom. And then Shirley asked me to, and well, I couldn't say no. But so I'm going to try. And then it got really interesting with the project I'm working on down in Washington and Montgomery County. I found the ideal family to show you how to do merging, because it actually had triplicates, it had kids that would need to be merged. I mean, it had everything. Well, somebody else went in and did all the merging. I've been holding this one, so I had to find a different family. So we will see how it goes tonight. Yes, we're going to talk about merging, maybe a little bit about attaching a source.
How about if everybody mutes their computers? How would that be? We're getting feedback from somebody. So,
is this possible? Let me. Well, Judy and I might be doing that because we're in the same household, although we're in different rooms. Is that possible?
It is possible.
Okay.
just mute it and it should be okay, shouldn't it?
Yeah, if you just mute, you're fine.
Judy, okay, great.
And for those that are new, the way you do that is take your mouse down to the bottom of the screen. Far left, there is the microphone that says mute. One thing that Shirley wanted me to emphasize, merging can be undone if you do accidentally do somebody that shouldn't be done. And if you're worried about making a mistake and want to practice, there is a practice area in Family Search, and it is beta.familysearch.org. And whenever you go in there, up above the Family Search
Wait
icon.
a minute, you need to repeat that for slow people.
Okay.
I guess I better leave.
Beta.familysearch.org. It is not real. You can go in there and practice. You can do anything you want in there, and the minute you log out, it's all gone. The way you can tell you're in there, and yes, Sister Johnson put it up there in the chat. There is in little bitty red letters that you need bifocals to see, right above the Family Search icon, it says beta. But you can do anything you want in there, and it won't stick around. Okay, let's talk a little bit. Why do we have duplicates?
Jim, can I ask a very basic question before you get started on the lesson? I'm sorry,
yes,
but
sir.
I don't really know what merging is. Family is all about. I don't know what we're merging.
Well, that is exactly what I'm going to be showing you.
Okay. Excuse me.
Because what happens, that's a very good lead-in, Dennis. We can end up with duplicate people in there. The same person might be entered 2 or 3 times. Or more. Somebody might enter a person without checking, and even though the system will sometimes let you know you're putting in a duplicate. You can still enter a duplicate person. A woman might be entered with her married name and her maiden name as two different families. You might have an alternate name or a nickname. You might have had a census taker that couldn't spell Bob. And or he might have been Robert and he wrote Bob, and somebody created a record for Bob. Somebody created a family search record for Robert. And then you have certain people that say, it's my grandmother. I am going to put them in there. And I don't care if anyone else did because she's my grandma. We do have people like that. And then back in 2012, Family Search did something that I'm still mad at them about. But it's also very helpful. They dumped a bunch of marriage records into the system. I think it was in June of 2012. And all it is a husband, a wife, a marriage date, and a place. So they created family after family, the couple, just the couple. No kids, no parents. It's a husband, a wife, a date, and a place. And that has created a ton of duplicate records. Okay, Miss Shirley, you are going to, oh, here we go, share screen. I think I found it. And it says host has disabled Sheen's, here, let's try this again. Well, this is going to get real interesting. Shirley, you made me the host, I think, but if I go to share screen, oh, now I am the host again. Did anything pop up?
No. Jim,
Well, let's
may I
try it
make
again.
a comment? May I make a comment?
Yes.
Another reason that you could have duplicates is, for example, this just happened to me, and it's happened many times to me, but this just happened to me a couple of days ago. My father is deceased and my mother is living. She was born in 1926. So although I have her entered as my mother, she is living and therefore not visible in Family Search except in my own account. So someone recently came along and decided she was deceased. So they entered her as deceased.
Yes.
So now she's in there twice. Now
Yes.
I've already tried to, I've already contacted help to get her removed as deceased. But let's say, hypothetically, she passes in the next few days or so. And then her record becomes the record that I have in my file for her as living. She will become, I will mark it as deceased. So then there will be two of her, one that somebody else entered and one that I entered but have changed. So there's a reason, because, and that is that happens a lot, especially when you have large LDS families who, let's say this happened in Mark's case. Mark's mother lived to be 100 years old. And so all of her descendants listed her in their own personal Family Search
And she got a new number.
every time. So
Yep.
she had many descendants. I'm sure she had at least 100 descendants. So when she passed, there's 100 of her in there.
Yep.
And that is one way that people become duplicate. Dennis,
Yeah.
do you understand that Family Search only shows one person as a unique human being?
No,
So,
Terry, I don't even know what you're talking about. You're talking of way above my head. That's why I'm learning here, coming here, trying to learn something.
okay, well, Ancestry, are you familiar with Ancestry.com at
Yeah.
all?
Yeah.
Ancestry.com has many trees. And so every individual sets up their own tree and their own private way of exhibiting their or displaying their family. But that's not the way Family Search is. Family Search has only one of every unique individual that's ever lived or ever will live. There will only be one of them. So we don't all have private trees. There's one tree. That's why it's called
Okay.
family
Thank
tree.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
So you're going to have to work with
Okay.
duplicates.
Yeah. Okay. One thing you need to make sure whenever you are working in Family Search. Now, hopefully, can you now see George Benton Hauser? Okay, good. All over this page, you will see these little triangles. Life sketch, vitals, and there's others on down the page. Now, the icons of our faces may be covering this up over on the right, but this evening, we're going to be talking about this one over here on the right, and I'm trying to make a big circle around it with my mouse that says research help. Make sure that you click that little triangle because it will like open up some hints. This one says couple may have children. I'm going to explain why this is important whenever we are working with duplicates. So keep that in mind. Okie dokie. Darn, I've got an icon over. I want to close it. Well, no. Okay. Now I'm going to switch screens. Now, do you see a screen that says attach historical records to family tree? Somebody shake their head. Yeah, okay. Good. What this is, we're trying to attach the 1900 census to a person in family tree, Barry Robbins and Mary Jane Niece, maybe. But you notice over here, it's green. Over here, it's not green. Green means good, it's attached. And see these little triangles here in the middle? It says, well, it's telling us something's going on. I'm not saying something's bad, but it says detach. So we might want to detach this record and attach to this record. Well, but this family looks complete. So what this is telling us, we need to go look at this family a little bit closer. And that's what we're going to do here. Let's look at Barry. I just clicked on his number and I'm bringing him up. Oh, see over here where it says research help? You may need to move our faces if it's over here on the right, but it says possible duplicate. That's a clue that Barry Robbins may be in there twice. Now, if we look at this family just a little bit, it's a family
I just move that over if you want it back.
with kids. But what
Hey,
we're
I
going
wanted
to,
something. Did you call UPS?
Did I call them?
Uh-huh.
It's like you could call it, they have a 1-800 number, and if you give them that, tracking number.
Okay,
Okay, we've got somebody talking over us here.
They deliver
you guys need to mute your computer, Michelle.
Wayne got distracted.
Then
and it wasn't a-
Hey, Michelle.
I said it was delivered at 2:10.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they can track that down.
Can you text
I
Michelle?
would call that
to
number.
mute her
Michelle who?
mic? Faith.
Michelle, would you mute your computer, please?
Sorry about that.
It's always good to hear your voice.
Sorry. I didn't know I
Okay.
was on. I was talking to my brother. He's lost his UPS package. Sorry about that.
Okay. Well, anyway, this one is easy. It's telling us we have a duplicate. Now, so I'm going to click on this and it says, let's review this merge. Now, one thing I want to assure you, I have spent this most of the afternoon making sure that Barry on the right is Barry on the left. I've gone in and searched other records. We may be attaching some of them, but these are the same people. This is one that if you look down here at the bottom on the left, it says Texas marriages. I can tell you this was one of those 2012 marriage dumps that Family Search put in there.
Could you scroll that back up? There was something I noticed at the top.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on the left. Oh, that's added date. Okay. April 16 April 2012. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, we have a couple of things here. One thing you want to do on this page is scroll up and down. You're going to want to verify and check out all the information on both sides of the page. And it tells you what sources this record came from. On the left, it's a marriage record. On the right, it's the 1900 census. Now, sometimes one side will be more complete than the other. It may have better information. We have this little option here in the middle. We can flip left to right, right to left. Or you don't have to, but you can. There might be information on one side that you just need one little tidbit of information. And well, let's see if we can do this. Let's go ahead and say, yes, continue.
Jim,
And
which is the one that we want to save, that we want to, I mean, do you always have amongst your duplicates one that you want to save that you're sure of?
well, I'm sure of both of them,
Yeah,
but there will be one that will be better to save. In this case, the Barry on the right has children in it, as well as the spouse.
that's not always the case that's going to come up. The one that I want to keep is on the right.
That is correct. That's why you have the switch.
Yeah.
May I make a
And
comment?
different
please?
people may have different reasons for keeping one versus the other, just depending on how they're working the family. In this case, something that went over automatically was the marriage date. It went from the person on the left to the person on the right. And in this case, that's a good thing. I want to keep it. But if I don't want to keep it, I can move it back. but I do want to keep it. Did someone have a comment?
In some ways, it doesn't matter which side you put the people on, because the surviving okay, you get 3 chances to save this or continue with this. You already made a first choice. The first time you said yes, continue, it's going to switch most of the information over to
Most.
the surviving person. It's going to switch
Correct.
all that information over there. So this is the screen that we're looking at is the second screen. And that's where we're going to get to decide what information to keep. And so you can see that if for some reason Barry's name, let's say on the left, Barry's name was spelled B-A-R-R-Y, and you wanted his name to be retained as B-A-R-R-Y, you could click on that button that says replace. You might want to switch, yes, replace. And and it would go over to the right side. So Family Search is always going to keep the information on the right side. Up at the top, it says surviving person. And the
Yes,
person on the left is going to, it's really the number itself. Do you see where the PID number is? That number is going to go away. And that's basically the only thing that will go away, because you can move everything over to the surviving person.
yes.
And even
And-
if you wanted to go back, Jim, and switch them, you could demonstrate that would happen.
I have a question.
No. Don't switch it yet. Go to the
Yeah.
back button. Hit the
Yeah.
back button.
Okay,
See the words?
Dennis, what's your question?
The question is, when you originally started with this Barry fellow, there were 2 different women listed as wife in there to Barry Robbins. I'm sure you probably got the right one, but how do we know?
You're going to have to merge them.
That
too.
is why I made the comment about me spending the afternoon working on this. Whenever you have something like this, whenever you see those little triangles, that pretty much tells you, oops, I've got to stop right there and do some research. Well, I have spent the afternoon researching this family, and the reason she has 2 different names,
Well, one of them had a middle name, the other one didn't.
yes, but she is Jane Robbins, which is her married name, and her maiden name is Mary Jane. Actually, her maiden name is Nix, but they misspelled it here, N-I-X. So we're going to work on that.
Oh, okay.
But nice catch, because whenever we do this, and I am ready to do it, what we are going to do, we are going to create 2 spouses for Mr. Barry. Have you ever read the children's book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie?
No.
Well, if you give a mouse a cookie, then he's going to want a glass of milk, and then he's going to want something else, and then something else, or it's another thing of where the ankle bone's connected to the leg bone's connected to the knee bone. We're not going to be doing just one merge here. We're going to create another merge.
Okay.
Okay, I am ready to continue. And again, I will say, whenever you're doing this, you need to research both families to make sure you're doing the right one. So here we go. And now we have created Barry, and it asks for a reason. Duplicate created with spouse under maiden name and married name. And we're going to finish merge. And now we're going to look at Mr. Barry. Down here it says merge successful and gave us a few seconds to undo it. But if we look down here, we have Barry married to Mary Jane Niece.
4 minutes, right?
We have Barry married to Jane Robbins. So in working with him, he has one wife. And it is, oh, let me click this so you can see we have children, Floyd, and this strange name here.
Ew.
So what we're going to do, we're going to want to keep Mary Jane Nix at the moment. Now here's a neat little trick. We're gonna, well, we're going to need her PID, her personal identification number. And Family Search has this wonderful little thing. If we click on this number, it says copy ID. ID copy.
Okay, there you go.
Now I want to keep Mary Jane Nix. I'm going to her person page. And it doesn't show I have any duplicates. But the reason is we have Mary Jane Niece and Jane Robbins, two totally different names. So the system is not going to pick it up. So we go down, down, down to Tools over here on the right. Remember, I told you these little arrows are important. I'm going to merge by ID. Possible duplicate ID. Remember, I copied her ID number. So I'm going to right click, paste, continue. Now I have Jane Robbins on the left, Mary Jane Niece on the right. Are you with me?
Yes.
Good. Now here is a really good one. I'm going to want to keep the name on the right, but there is some better information on the left, like her kids. Now I did check, her spouse is the same, and there's a whole bunch of other information. But we're going to see what Family Search does for us whenever I click next. In this case, I do not want to switch these. I want Mary Jane.
Jim,
Yes.
let me ask you back when you decided I want this one, I want the other one, blah, blah. It was because you had found records of them. How, for instance, how did you just determine that just plain Jane Robbins was the same as Mary Jane?
I will be, well, I better look at the time before I say I will be explaining that. I think I'd better tell it rather than show you. What would be a good way to find a woman's maiden name?
If you found her parents, but do you have that information?
But I don't know her parents at the moment. I haven't
Birth
gotten
birth records of her children.
birth records of her children.
Oh.
Yes. And I can't remember whether it was birth records or death records that I have found, because I didn't attach those yet.
Okay, so like Karen said, it was children. You went to the children. You went
Yes,
to records on the children to find. Oh,
because one of the ways to find a person is to not look for them. But no,
you better
but to
explain
look
that.
around them, to look
Oh.
around them.
Okay.
Okay, am I making sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to keep the one with less information. And her birth record came over, or her birth date came over. Her children came over.
Jim, if
Yes.
you changed your mind, go up to the top again and decided that you didn't want her name to be Mary Jane Nice. See where it says replace on the left.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
Here.
say you changed your mind. Click on replace. You can put it back.
yeah.
You
See,
can-
I
you-
just made
you
her
can-
Jane Robbins again.
Right. Now you can undo that.
I don't want that.
Right. I know.
So you can move things back and forth.
Yeah.
So right now, we're good. This is what I want to keep. So continue. Put in a reason.
Jim, they have added these reasons down on the, underneath where you're typing that in. So you could just click on one of those reasons if you wanted to.
And I really love those reasons down below because they list both PIDs of the
You
people.
know, in all of this time, I thought those were examples. Now, I have learned something tremendously
You
tonight.
just click on it. Click add.
All
word-
B.
See the word add?
Yep,
Just click on it. You can delete it if you want to write what you were going to.
yep. But I want in there that duplicate created from married name
You can type in there or just delete what we just put.
and maiden name. In all of this time, I thought those were examples. You have saved me because I build family trees for a living now. I mean, not a living, but as part of my mission. So I use this many times a day. Oh, you made my day. See, I told you I didn't want to do this one, Shirley. But no,
Doing
so
fine.
far we're doing good. So I want to finish merge. Now we have a bunch of records, marriage records, and you notice it's just that marriage record. We don't have any other records pop up, suggested records over here on the right. Well, there's a reason for that. And we're going to see if we can fix that. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. You see here where it says other information on the left? We have add information, alternate name, Mary Jane Nix. Because if we click on some of the I think Floyd, like I was telling Shirley earlier, I had a great family picked out that I practiced on and somebody actually combined it. So this one I had to punt with. Let's go to Floyd here.
If here in Texas, okay, but she was born right after the Civil War. So
Now I've got another possible duplicate, and this is Floyd M. Let me see what happens if I combine him. Click on Review Merge. And again, I have researched these. They are the same person. Okay, this time he has a spouse. We have parents over here. Okay, we've gone all the way down. Yeah, we're good. We're going to say yes, continue. We want to make sure we've got all the good information on the right. On the left, we have 1886 Texas. On the right, February 1886 Texas, much better information. So we'll keep that. His residence is over there. His spouse is over there. We're good. We're good. Continue. And I'm just going to click on this. And now we've got him.
Jim, I have another question on that information that was there. How did they know there was a possibility that the person listed was Black?
What I am working on is African-American census in Washington and Montgomery counties. And this place called I think BYU Linking Lab is the one that put this in there, that it says Black or African-American, but we can go up here to sources and we can look. Oh, I have a feeling my computer is going to freak out.
But that did say, once you brought that up, it did say by family search. So it gave the source there. It was family search, but.
Okay, I cannot, something is happening with the census record in Firefox, and I was going to switch browsers and I didn't. And this has come out great, but a census record has said that these people, most of these people, well, that this person is Black.
Okay, that's where they got that. Okay.
But see, Family Search is using a lot of AI now, artificial intelligence. In fact, I hear that's how the 1950 census is going to be indexed, which is blowing me away. But so they go in and add things like this. So, okay, let me back up here.
What it looks like is somebody has indexed that, because that's what they ask you to do on the index is just these categories.
Yep. So, okay, well, I have a slight problem here in that the menu bar up at the top covers up. There we go. So I want to back up. Now, one thing I want to point out, let's see if I can find this. Have we combined him? I'll go back and show you if it's there. Yes, okay. What I want to show you And I will back up, but let me back up here. Back up to Floyd. Remember, I told you how important these arrows were. You will want this arrow showing that shows latest changes. So I can go to those changes. And if I go, oh my gosh, that was the wrong Floyd, I can hit unmerge over here on the far right. Hopefully the people faces aren't covering this up, but you can unmerge the person if you make a mistake. Okay.
You
Is
can
this a
only
way
do
to-
that. You have to do that right away. If you start adding records to either one, to that person that you have merged, you cannot do an unmerge easily.
What does right away mean, Karen?
Minutes.
Well, it means if you have added other records, let's say you're
Well,
sitting here.
I know what the term means. I mean, what, when you say right away, minutes, hours, days, or weeks?
Until there are other records added, then you can delete the merge. But once other records have been added, then you cannot delete the merge any longer. So if nobody adds records or you don't add records, it could be there for 2 years or how many. But if somebody starts adding records right away, or you do, then you're not going to be able to undo the merge right easily. You can still undo it, not easily.
Yeah, I don't want to go into that here.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Because like I say, I was worried about teaching this anyway.
Hey, Jim, I
Something
have
like-
another question.
Yes,
Is
sir.
this a way to be able to find, for example, Lorraine and I have an aunt. I brought this up a few weeks ago. Her middle name is Camellia, Clomelia, Clotilda, all kinds of different names. Is this a way to hone in and see what all the names are and then try to get it straightened out?
Is she different people?
No,
Does she have different PID numbers?
no, she's paranoid right now is all because of the name thing, but
Well, as long as she has only,
I don't know. Yeah, well, yeah.
no,
she passed
as
on
long
the
as she
time
only has one PID, then you're okay.
ago. Okay.
But
Why don't
Dennis,
you-
you know,
listen,
I
Dennis.
showed you the trick of adding information, alternate names.
Uh-huh.
You can put in a dozen alternate names. Because I remember you talking about her. And, you know, it will help whenever you go to search records if you put those in there. Because one record may be spelled one way and one another. And actually, there's this little feature here, down here in tools, find similar people. If you are in your aunt's person
Floyd.
page, you know, like we're looking at Floyd Robbins, you can click this and it will pull up the similar people. And you might find some duplicates.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Carry on.
Let's see, what else have I got? I want to show Mary Jane here, so I'm going to her person page. And I should have some sources on her. Well, I thought I did. I thought I had one where she was on a son's birth record. What I'm going to try and do is do a search for records for her in Family Search. And I'm not impressed with the new system. So I'm just going to click on search records here. Remember, I've got this little triangle pointing down. So we'll see if anything comes up. I have a bunch of marriage records. Aha. Oh, Mary Jane Nix, but I don't think. That shouldn't be
You
it.
typed Mary Jane Nix into something that you typed in. Would that be picking that up?
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I did. And this is what I wanted to show you. Because I typed in her real name of Nix, it searched on Mary Jane Nice, and Mary Jane Nix.
There she is right there. Her husband is Freddie Barry Robbins, and she had a child, Hugh.
Yes,
And
yes,
Hugh is spelled differently also.
yes. This is where I wanted to get to. Oh, good, because I'm glad I got there in the time allotted. Because I'm going to quit with this one and open it up for questions. Because whenever you go do a merge, it's like giving that mouse the cookie. You know, one thing leads to another, and then he's going to want the napkin and then the glass of milk, and then he's going to have to brush his teeth and all this other stuff. Now, I've looked at this record. This is him. And yes, somebody pointed out that dad, it gives a first name for the dad. But right now I want to get this attached. Come on, attach. And it brings up, it doesn't know what to do with it because it was so far down. So I'm going to choose Mary Jane. So not only are we doing merging, we're talking a bit about finding and attaching sources. And get it attached to Hugh.
Okay, were you going to correct the name of Hugh?
As a matter of fact, that is going to be my parting thing. And then I'm going to open it up for questions because, yeah. Go down to Hugh. Person. Other information. Add information. Alternate name. And spelled incorrectly in 1900 census.
Jim, where was it spelled with the GH?
That was his, we can go up here and look at sources. And that was on his death certificate. And okay. I haven't attached them yet. But if I look at the 1830 census and 40 census, that's all I've had time to find. He is H-U-G-H, not H-U-E.
Okay. And I think you'd mentioned before, sometimes the spelling is wrong in the census.
Yeah, well.
So you've got a
besides that, he's black and not Vietnamese.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not white. But yeah, census takers didn't always spell too good. We'll leave it at that. Okay, I see Dennis's sister has a question.
Yes, I'm wondering why you put the alternate names of both Hugh and Nick's in other information instead of changing it on the details sheet.
Because I'm on Zoom and I have a whole lot of people watching and I didn't want to confuse them. And I'm not saying that to be funny. Because I will still be working on this family. And what I normally do, I put where I have real records, like a death certificate, a tombstone, a birth certificate, I will put that name in up here in the main screen. And actually, I will change this around because to me, HUE is the alternate name. But you caught me on that.
Well, I wondered if I'd been doing it wrong all this time. That's what threw me
No,
for a loop.
well, the important thing is that you get both names in there.
Yes.
And what gets difficult, I can't remember who I was talking with. They had a grandfather born in Denmark in one name, so they have a real record with that. Oh, that was Christina, I think. They have a real record with his Danish name and a real record with his birth certificate and tombstone in Utah. Well, with that one, it would be however Christina wants to put it in. I do not know if there is a right way and wrong way on that one because both of them are official names.
Right.
The big thing is you need to put a note in there. And like I say, on this one, I will change the main name to Hugh as I finish working this family and make HUE the alternate name.
Okay, thank you.
I question the veracity of tombstones, partly because my Aunt Chloe, when my daughter in Idaho took a picture of Grandma and Grandpa Call's headstone, and it had their children listed on the back, and it spelled Aunt Chloe's middle name differently than anything else that was out there. Now, these headstones a lot of times are put in years after the death occurs by children or grandchildren. And so I just have to wonder about the veracity of using headstones as the quote true source.
Exactly. But the name on a tombstone is probably, notice how I said that, probably how that person was known in life. But it may not be.
Well, it was a middle name.
And that's why we have note sections, like in Find a Grave. You can make notes, in here, in Family Search, you can use alternate names. And sometimes those are needed. And I remember, Dennis, your aunt, Christina, your grandfather or whatever his relationship is, you need to put a little note in there so you know why in the heck does this person have two different names. We have one in our family that he was known as Walt. Oh, great. I forgot his name. Totally different name. But, I never could find Walter Bryant. And, we never could find him. Well, he left Indiana, went to Wyoming, became a stockman, raised horses, and became known as Jack Tapers. Totally different name. We have no idea why. We don't know what happened. Never been able to figure that out. But we have both names in Family Search, so we can at least find him. Okay, additional questions. And by the way, thank you for your questions because you have managed to hit things that we needed to hit that I was forgetting. So thank you very much.
It's been a great
Question.
lesson. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Well,
For your help.
now I have a question for you, Dennis, because you started out saying you didn't know what a duplicate was. Do you know what a duplicate is now?
I understand the word duplicate. What I didn't really understand was the merging. I couldn't figure out what we were going to be merging.
Can you see why we need to
Yes.
merge?
Yes, you done good.
Then I
Hope you get a raise.
consider it a success. So thank you very much.
Takes the dumbest kid in the class, and if he succeeds, it's definitely a success.
No, Dennis, I did not mean that.
I know it.
You're the one
I
that
know it, Jim.
expressed, you're the one that had the guts to speak out. So thank you.
Thank
I
you.
am going to stop sharing.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is the recording going to be shared? I hopped on late because I was helping one of my kids, but yeah, I got like the last 20 minutes.
I think Sister Johnson, who I hope is still on, can send.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
Would you like me
okay.
to send it to you?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, sure.
Thank
Cool.
you. I
And
appreciate
just
it.
so you know, I make house calls, at least locally. So, we can help you out too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Mhm.
Now, I surely didn't do that good. I expected more questions.
No, thank you very much for all your work on this. It was great.
Well, good. We hope you join us in a couple of weeks.
Plan to.
Cool.
Okay, then.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. That was really good. I learned some things too. So
Well, so did I, because I don't know who told me about those pre-printed reasons. I'm going, good grief. I thought those were just examples. So boy, am I going to be using those.
well, good.
You'll never be the teacher's pet.
Oh my.
Some of the lessons we have coming up are going to be on photos, how to do just general editing, I think. And hopefully we'll talk about things that you can learn from looking at old photos. I hope so, because I've got a lot of them that I would like some more information on. And so anyway, and then also we'll be talking about some of the things that are available at the Family History Center on the portal. Those are subscription websites that you can come down to the Family History Center or affiliated libraries like the Grapevine Library or the Downtown Fort Worth Library, and use those resources without a charge for them.
Like what?
Well, Ancestry,
Newspaper.
yeah, newspapers.com, Full 3. There's a whole bunch. They just redid the website earlier in the summer, and when it came back on, they had several other new ones that I hadn't seen before. So
Thank you.
Surely he'll be giving you that tour and showing you all the possibilities. So
I'd like to see that.
I'm not real sure about that. We have to make sure we can do Zoom from the Family History Center. So,
A comment I would like to make, because I see we have a lot of different people on tonight, and some old hands also. But please, 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 the Johnsons are after suggestions. We'd much rather cover something that you want covered rather than things we think you need covered. See, like the questions tonight, those helped me guide the presentation. We want you to tell us what you need so we can hopefully show you and help you out.